All right, well, welcome Matt Murphy, Beth Wilson, TechTech. You guys have an amazing platform that I've been just so impressed since I first met you, Matt, and you introduced me to the team. I mean, that's one of the attributes to a great startup is having a powerful team. You guys certainly have that on your end. And the market that you're jumping into, this is a huge opportunity that I've not heard of anyone really trying to solve this major problem that's at hand. But before we jump into all that, Matt and Beth, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? We'll do ladies first. And Beth, bring us up to speed with your background, how you got introduced to this project.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you. We're super excited to be here and share this time with you. My name is Beth Wilson. I am the CEO of TechTech. I've spent my career in the Dallas, Texas area in a very, very focused role in product engineering and product management. So my entire career has been spent in creating digital products and digital platforms that people love. And what I mean by that is I started my career at Neiman Marcus Online, where it was ingrained in us to laser focus on that customer journey and customer experience and make sure every single digital touch point was the best it possibly could be. That time at Neiman's led me then to Match.com here also in the Dallas area where I was head of product for nearly 10 years and responsible for all of North America. I was responsible for our international platform called i6, as well as a sub brand called chemistry.com. And it's in that experience at Match.com that really, really honed in my skills around understanding the user behavior and their interaction with the digital environment, and also using data to drive product decisions and to make sure that the product is something that's sticky, that people want to use, and that people find as a convenient and a helpful utility versus something that they are forced to interact with. And so it's a real differentiator for me in my background. And after Match, I had a real entrepreneurial itch, and so took on the role of head of a digital agency here in the Dallas area called Beanstalk Digital. Where we built dozens and dozens of mobile apps and websites and web apps and SaaS platforms for all sorts of clients across various industries. Um, that experience led me to my one of my lifelong friends, literally grew up together in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He hired me to help him exit one of his companies, which I can't wait to let him introduce himself here in a second. But once our paths crossed again, it was we've been working together almost every single day since that point in time. So glad to have Matt here with me. He's part of the team. It's an exciting part of the journey. And so, Matt, why don't you jump in?
That is
No,
so exciting.
absolutely.
Thanks so much for that, Beth. And I got to tell you, what you did at Neiman Marcus works because my wife is still closely connected with Neiman Marcus with a credit card. So there, because
Um, yeah.
not a brick and mortar store here in our neck of the woods, but there was in New York, and somehow she still is connected. So whatever you did there worked. So that's
You
all.
know, it was a wild time because Neiman Marcus Online had just launched when I joined, and I was like sixth or seventh employee when they just launched their website as connected to the catalog. And we spent 6 years launching numerous sites after that, from Chef's Catalog to the Neiman Marcus Bridal Book to the Christmas Book. It was really a wild time in the internet world, as well as someone who was coming up in their career everyone was trying to figure out digital.
Yeah.
And it was a wild time.
That's awesome. All right, Matt, over to you. You've got some background, man. I feel blessed to be a part of this project. Candidly, I don't even feel like you need me because you're so dialed in and connected and have done this before. But I'm so proud to be a part of this project to take some work off of your plate because you've got some things happening over there. And I don't want to steal your thunder, but go ahead, introduce yourself, Matt Murphy.
No, this is very serendipitous. I'm the benefactor of all of this activity, and it's been a real exciting journey. My career path stretches some 30 years in the technology business. I've been in high-level strategy and consulting around IT my whole career. I cut my teeth in Y2K. I've been in legacy systems. I've been in new systems, and now, we're venturing into the world of AI. But needless to say, along that path, I helped corporate organizations for a number of years deploy large scale systems, whether it was HRIS, CRM, social media management, and insights, all the way to ERP and fintech systems. So, needless to say, pretty well rounded in terms of technology. In 2010, my son was diagnosed with autism, and I figured out that the corporate world and 200 plus days of travel was going to be difficult to get him the treatment he wanted. So I kicked off on my entrepreneurial journey with my wife and started a technology company based in Dallas. We rode that horse for 8 years. I ran into Beth and said, help me exit this thing. And we were able to exit our organization to one of the biggest technology companies on the planet. Following that exit, I was still feeling entrepreneurial, like I wanted to be a part of something. And Beth and I reconnecting in that opportunity, that was in 2018. And so, needless to say, for the last, almost 8 years, Beth and I have been working together first at Beanstalk Digital, where we worked together to build a product called Beanstalk Predictive, which was an insight tool that we were using across agency owners to determine what type of products and funding needs would be required for startups to come into the marketplace. So while you mentioned that we have, a lot of credentials along the way, it's really intriguing to be in this position that this is the first time that we've funded one of our own projects. Needless to say, we've helped dozens of other startups and companies fund their projects along the way. But this last couple of years, as we've entered this opportunity to build out the TechTech solution and support what is the services space, blue collar work in the marketplace is so important. The jobs are actually growing rather than shrinking due to the needs of not necessarily new construction in homes, but commercial and other things are really driving the need for electricians, plumbers, lawn services, pool guys, all of the things across the spectrum. And so building this system and this tool has been such a pleasure working side by side with Beth. Bringing it to the incredible market of need and opportunity is what we're excited to do. But it's just, it's such a great opportunity to work with someone you enjoy working with every day. Behind us is a team of folks that have all, got a fat lip here and a black eye there. We like to work with tenured teams. We don't have a whole room full of 20 somethings that are, kicking out new intern work. We really try to specialize in working side by side with C-level executives in outlining how these tools and systems improve their business. And so that's where our comfort lies. I'm the chief operating officer and president. I lean into HRIS, legal liability, accounting, scaling the internal organization to meet the needs of the customer, and best product expertise and leadership as CEO. This is an exciting opportunity. I'm real happy to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much for that. Let's jump into things because I think what an investor is right now listening to is like, okay, well, what are you guys working on?
What is this all about? Yeah.
so so let's jump into that. One of the things that I always tell founders is so important to articulate, and you guys do it so well, is just really underscoring the problem that you're solving and the people you do it for or the audience you solve it for. Let me throw that out to you guys because I think investors with those listening ears, they want to hear that. Like, what is this problem that they're solving? And I'll hand that over to you, Beth, because I think
Sure.
you articulate it well. And Matt, whatever you want to season her answer with, please jump in. But Beth, tell everybody the
Yeah.
problem that you're solving and the audience you solve it for.
Right, right. Well, as I mentioned a few moments ago, we've had the privilege to work with clients in all sorts of industries in our role at the digital agency. And a year or so ago, we were hired by a company here in Dallas that is a warranty service repair company, and they have over 5,000 technicians out in the field nationwide. They're coast to coast. They're in Canada. And their unique specialty is they do warranty repair for doors and windows for 200 plus manufacturers here in the US.
Wow.
And it has been an eye-opening journey to get into the business with them, to really learn the back office, what happens in the field. And what Matt and I were able to realize really quickly is that this warranty service repair industry has been the most neglected and ignored part of construction of any of the entire life cycle. And what I mean by that is this: once a product is launched or once a house is turned over to the new homeowners or something is installed like doors and windows, the manufacturer's out of the way, but the homeowner now is the one that's interacting with these new products. And the life cycle in terms of digital interaction sort of ended when they installed it. And
Mm.
the post-service experience is largely ignored. It's largely it's techless, if you will. It's part of the whole process that is largely without tech.
So
And
give,
it's a
me a use-
billion dollar,
give
it's
me
a billion dollar problem.
Yeah, so give me a use case on that so the investor can understand. So I buy a new home and I love it. This is great. And all of a sudden, my sliding door is sticking, or
Yeah.
the lock isn't working, or and I'm irritated. This is a brand new house. Is it something that minuscule where
Yes.
they would even bother to call the builder? I mean, because I'm a DIYer myself, so I probably wouldn't bother anybody with that. Why is it so critical to have something like this?
So there's three parties involved in just the one example that you just gave, and all of them face problems with that exact issue. So the homeowner, let's just start with the homeowner. They've just moved in. They now are identifying what works and what doesn't work. Very irritating to someone who's just landed a mortgage and
Yeah,
now they're finding the flaws in the construction process, which exist in every home, right?
yeah,
So the homeowner has a desire to report that right away, to understand what the warranty repair or warranty process looks like, to know when a timely repair might happen, and to be confident in the builder and their ability to close that loop quickly. So for the customer, those are sort of the problems that they face, and and that's what they're trying to achieve. For the builder, by the way, the builder's already moved on to their next build. So
yeah,
this is in the rear view mirror for them.
yeah,
And this is sort of long tail issues that keep that are like thorns in the arm of the GC and the home builder.
yeah.
Because this is they're needing to move on. They've closed out that business, but now let me just tell you this, every home builder earmarks $3,000 to $5,000 per home to fund these issues that come up post the
Wow,
post construction process.
I had no
So
idea.
yes, there are millions of dollars allocated across every home builder because they have to hold back dollars in that original construction cost to
Mm.
cover this sort of rear view mirror looking repair situation. Now, for a home builder, aside from the sort of inconvenience of having to go back to a house that's quote unquote done and continue repair there, they're having to chase down the original technician who installed it in the first place, which is usually a trade, which is not necessarily part of their employ. They're not their employees, they're trades,
Sure,
right? These are third party vendors that the home builders use to do their. So they're having to track those folks down to get them back on site to do the repair, schedule them, likely get a new part to replace, whether it's a new door, a new hardware, whatever they need. They have to coordinate all that. This coordination is a nightmare when you're trying to do it in an Excel spreadsheet or sticky notes, which is largely how this process is managed right now. And so all of a sudden you already have a massive irritation between the homeowner and the home builder.
yeah.
So that relationship begins to erode. And then the third party that's in this sort of triangle is the technician themselves. It's difficult for them to manage all these warranty tickets across all the houses that they serve when they too have moved on to the next job. So for two of the players, this is something that's in their rearview mirror. They're not necessarily wanting to go back and do these kinds of repairs. So the problem exists in every household in America. And I'm not even joking. And the management of it, again, is largely techless right now. And the ability for a platform to serve as the hub of this process, giving a consumer the ability to report things quickly, to take pictures, to send videos, giving that home builder or the manufacturer clear understanding of what that issue is, allows them to solve that problem faster
Hmm.
and to do it more efficient. And the same is true when drawing back in that vendor or the installer who put it in the first place, when they can visually see what it was that's caused the issue. It reduces the time for repair. It improves the relationship between the consumer and the home builder, and it also keeps that vendor accountable for their work. And so this is what you're describing, that just that slider door has all those three participants in that solving that problem. And it's a massive opportunity to make that process streamlined and well documented. And we'll get into how the platform does that in a second. Matt, jump in.
Yeah, I think, and Beth, that was a really great use case to share, and I think it's very specific. And so, what I think it's important to talk about is why TechTech exists. And so, it's born out of the realization that, let's call it warranty and service dispatch, where a skilled technician is dispatched to service any sort of customer need, has been greatly overlooked over the last 30 years. And so, needless to say, a lot of these communications are coming across in spreadsheets, text messages, and phone calls. And that was across multiple industries. So, needless to say, home building and warranty is a very important component. Manufacturers of anything, solar panels, appliances, any of these pieces where there's regular service dispatch related to it is very important. And again, to Best point, it's in the rearview mirror. It's a huge inefficiency hiding in plain sight. So that's why we built TechTech. It's a single intelligent platform that connects warranty claims, technician dispatch, and customer communication just to one platform. And I think that that's the simplicity of the market and the opportunity is that we're bringing new innovation powered by AI and other tools to bring our customers up to speed. So we're replacing chaos with clarity, giving every player in the chain, one source of truth. And to Best point, we'll dig into the Easter egg in how we protect liability as we move through the conversation.
Yeah, because I can see this really fitting into so many verticals. And, thank you for that explanation, Matt. And by the way, folks, you're probably seeing a button pop up. Go ahead and click on that. If you're sort of like, hey, let me pump the brakes here, Izzy, I want to learn more about this and speak to these folks directly. Maybe you're a developer or whatever it is, but we'll certainly get you the information that you're looking for. Click on that button and we'll arrange that. But again, I'm thinking about these, the massive meat on the bones, if you will, with all these verticals. And we're only talking about, new build construction, that type of thing. What popped into my head about was what about furniture? What about, when someone buys an appliance in the house and, maybe the furniture arm sort of sags down. It's like, what the heck? I just bought this a couple of months ago and, from IKEA or whatever, whomever it is. I don't need to say any names. But I mean, just in my own household, recently we had a refrigerator issue that I thought I could figure out because, again, I'm a DIYer. And I learned it was just the solenoid that burnt out because we were filling up pitchers of water for one of my fish tanks over here. And apparently you can't have that open too long. It burns out the solenoid. But I didn't know that, right? So we had to have a warranty work thing done. And I don't think they're using anything like what you guys are bringing to market because that was an issue. All right. And just being on hold, and you guys are just taking technology. And what I'd love for the investor to understand is this now forward facing a customer that has to deal with an issue, or is it white labeled to like the Whirlpools of the world, the Toll Brothers of the world? What does that all look like where someone can interface on one sort of knock, if you will? They've got this, homes being built all over the area, and they can, a red light pops up with, oh, this customer has a complaint, the ticket is issued. I don't know what that looks like. And if you want to share your screen with any slides or the actual platform live, go right ahead and do that. But whomever wants to answer that, please jump in.
Beth, I just want to briefly say something before we
Yeah.
share. And I think, Izzy, you hit the nail on the head. Like, these issues exist across all industries. Needless to say, anywhere technicians are servicing customers, there is a communication channel. And so we will get into some of our other use cases as we move forward. But one great example is that we've just launched TechTech within a large pool services company. And it's a company that does pool cleaning. They have thousands of customers, they have hundreds of technicians. They need route optimization. They need to know that the dog's out back. They need to know that the key's been hidden in a pot by the pool. There are so many unique communications that happen in the service space, and whether that's pest care, lawn care, pool maintenance, Anywhere that there is direct interaction between a service technician, a company providing services, and a customer, our tool is designed to optimize that space. And so, Beth, with that, we might want to show them some of the things we're working on.
Yeah, please do. Because again,
Sure.
even recently, so here in Colorado, you guys probably don't have to deal with this, but I got to blow out my sprinklers, right? So
Yep.
one year, a few years back, was a younger guy, and maybe he wasn't as experienced, but he shot one of my sprinklers, straight up in the air. He just had too much power from the compressor, and that thing shot up like a bottle rocket. And I didn't realize that until the spring, right? And we turned this on and everything's shooting out. And sure enough, I found the sprinkler, 20 yards away. And I'm like, oh, I see what happened here. But I had no idea, right? I had no idea until the spring. And it's like that was in their rear view mirror. And, what do you do with stuff like that? And so, anyway, I totally get it. Go ahead and jump into things.
Yeah, let me before I'll reshare here in a second, but before I do, I just want to mention there's two primary components to the platform. Both are super critical. The interface I'm about to show you is sort of the back office view. And what I mean by that is this is the company who is central to manage all the warranty tickets for their organization. And so I'll show you sort of how we lay that out. So that's the one part of the two part of the platform. The other piece is the technician mobile app. And it's a real differentiator for our product. And I'll get into to why that is. I mean, there are other warranty products in market. A lot of them are very, very, very light, sort of bolt-ons to what is a construction management platform. So there's construction management, and then an afterthought is this like little warranty ticket thing. The reason why we've laser focused on solving warranty is because the solution that we've built is there's nothing quite like it in market because of the way we've done the mobile app. It's a really actually important part of the platform. Um, Let me show you first just a little. Let me just give you a tour around the back office platform.
Yeah, please do.
First of all, we have there are open APIs behind the scenes here which allow companies to send tickets from, say, another system into the warranty management platform, which is what we're looking at here. Just to orient you, up here in the left-hand corner is one of our clients. It's actually one of the ones I mentioned earlier. This is what we're looking at is data that is warranty tickets nationwide for door and window repairs.
Hmm.
Um, Over here is the ability to manually create a ticket, which then again, they're choosing clients, they're entering reference IDs, customers, giving a description, they can add attachments. Are there parts needed for the job? Lots of times in warranty repair, they have to go get a new door, they have to go get a handle, they have to go get a replacement part. So this also helps companies track the replacement parts. It seems like it's not a big deal. It's actually huge because they can't schedule the job until the part is available. So we help them track the part availability, and then we do auto scheduling once we know the part has a scheduled arrival date.
Wow, that's great.
And then here again, they can track the parts to make sure they're on track. Um, Over here on my jobs list here, what you're seeing are all these jobs that have come in. Sometimes they require a quote, and sometimes they are just go straight to job. We've designed the interface here a bit like Realtor.com or Zillow, where you've got the map of the actual job sites here on the right side, and then the list of jobs here in the center panel, and then on the left is your navigation. The map is really critical to managing these warranty tickets because of a couple things. On this map, we allow them to map where the technician is.
Hmm.
We allow them to map where the part is, and we allow them to map where the job is. And for any job that is scheduled, they can see the total mileage. Let me try to find one for you. I'm going to filter the list right now by schedule job. Let's see. So they can the chart, they actually track the technician distance for this particular job, so they can see how long it's going to take for this technician to actually complete this job. Every type of repair is built into the system, and it's built in with their cost. Let's see.
So I saw in that particular case, it's over 700 miles away. Is it practical that that tech is going to go to that particular job?
That was kind of an anomaly. I think that's not practical. You can see we've got all the types of services that can be done in the field in here for this client, and it shows them the cost of it and then what they were going to charge back to the manufacturer.
Um,
This allows them to build the job and to know what the profitability is of the job before they even send a technician to the house. Yeah,
and
this
one
is kind of an anomaly, but
One of the
Oh,
things that I love that Matt had mentioned is something with route optimization. So, if there's something in an area where maybe a part's coming in, but they already have this known issue, would they kind of tie the two together and say, hey, this tech can knock out these two once that part comes in? Let's sort of pump the brakes and get them both done at the same time so it's more efficient.
that's exactly right. You nailed it. So like especially when there's multiple parts being delivered in one shipment, meaning that they're parts for multiple locations.
Yep.
Now I can say, okay, technician A, you when you go pick up these parts, it's tied to these three jobs. We're scheduling you for all of those. And so you knock them all out in one day. And we
Uh,
can route them on their path and give them the optimal route in order to make sure that their day is the most efficient it can possibly be. And because each type of job in the system not only has cost and a charge associated with it, we've also built in how long it's meant to take. So then we know how many jobs a technician can actually do in a day because we have estimated time frames for how long that job should take. So there's a lot of metadata that sits behind the scenes that allows the team to be far more efficient and in their planning. So this is kind of an interface for the planner who's planning out that technician's day and where they're going to go and what kind of tasks they can tackle in a day.
so, me as a customer, I'm not
Mhm.
seeing this, right? This is
Correct.
for
This
like
is the back office.
that's
Yeah.
back office, the CRM, the knock, whatever you want to call it, that someone is managing. But when
Mhm.
I have an issue that pops up, is there some kind of API that maybe says, similar to like a Zendesk or whatever, like I've got an issue and I want to let my builder know. Is there something like that that would connect and then they'll see it pop up on their radar?
So the customer interface piece is something that's still in development now. We are able to take this product as is to in we're able to launch it within actually in the next 30 days. We're launching it with our first client, and there in this particular instance, the customer interface lives with the manufacturer, and so not to confuse everybody, but the manufacturer is the recipient of the homeowner's issue.
Yes.
The manufacturer goes, okay, I need this window or door repaired. So they're able to use our API and submit the ticket into our system. So this is just a unique case where the manufacturer is the face to the customer, but we're handling all the warranty repair behind the scenes through our technology.
That's
Well,
awesome.
the out of the box interface that comes with the platform is something that's in development, and as part of our raise is to we really want to build that out so that it's a key and meaningful part of our application for all of our clients because we truly believe that that is one of the huge missing elements for any of the tech that's in the space today is that it loses sight of the homeowner in the process of warranty repair. And why that is so important is not only is it important for the customer or the end user to be satisfied with the service and the product, it helps the brands, it helps the manufacturers, it helps the home builders. But another thing that's on the roadmap is we want to build in a closed loop rating system so that I, as the homeowner, can rate the quality of my relationship with that home builder or my quality of that manufacturer in handling these types of repairs is when these issues that arise are handled beautifully and handled well, that builds on that customer loyalty, that drives positive reviews. And we want to help facilitate that whole feedback loop as part of our roadmap.
And
Excellent. Yes.
Izzy, I wanted to speak to a couple things that came up, A, not only in the demo, but B, the question you asked right before. In the demo, when you see 711 miles travel for a particular tech, it's highly likely, because I've asked, UTS about this, it's highly likely that that technician is a specialized technician that is required to do maybe you have a 20 by 20-foot glass window going in. They're
Ah,
very specialist resources. So needless to say, that's where some of those anomalies live.
okay.
The other side of that, I think there was a question you posed right before we kicked off that share, and I think it's important to answer it, which is our system is white label. Our system is fully modular. It's built for customers to use bits and pieces or the whole platform, whatever works best for them. It's a SaaS model. It's recurring. It's predictable. It's designed for scale. Because the model's modular, it expands naturally across any industry. And so, needless to say, whether it's builders or appliance providers or pool services or HVAC or solar, the ability to deploy it quickly under the branded white label, tools that allow that customer to deploy that to their customers without any sort of insight to what TechTech's play in it is, it looks like the customer's tool. And so, needless to say, very seamless, very frictionless, easy to deploy, and ultimately moves efficiency forward for that customer.
Love it, love it. And I wish Matt was on my team because he can interview some of these amazing startups that are coming up. But you just hit some of the things that I wanted to touch on, and let's jump to that because you guys are.
If you don't mind, I want to lean into one thing that I didn't get to do a moment ago, and that is the technician mobile app. And
Yes, please.
I want to jump into that because this is a key to the differentiation for our platform.
Right.
What we built in the mobile app is allows companies to build a consistent data collection process in the field. And why that is so important is because of risk mitigation and liability protection. I'll give you an example. Let's just go back to your sliding door example for a moment. Let's say a technician goes out to the home, doesn't document anything, reports back in an email that was fixed, no
Mhm.
pictures, no nothing.
Mm.
There is this enormous risk and liability because the homeowner can make complaints, can make claims, can make all sorts of can raise all sorts of issues around what the actual issue was and if it was actually handled properly. So what we've built in the mobile app gives companies the ability to standardize the data collection process in the field. So every time a technician is deployed, they are asked the same exact questions in the mobile app. They cannot leave the job site until that is completed, which sounds like a small problem. It's not. A lot of times technicians, when they're not required to do this, they just go through all their jobs. And at the end of the day, they go, okay, what did I do at that house? And they're doing halfway documentation. The mobile app allows them to obviously do speech detection, so they don't have to sit there and type. It's multilingual. And so what the result is for a company is they have consistent and predictable data collection on the job site, which clearly shows and documents with photographs and descriptions what the problem was when the technician arrived, how that problem was solved, what the technician did to solve it, is there follow-up needed, and all the photographs of that process throughout that technician journey. And so it sounds like a small thing. It's huge.
Yeah.
This now creates, this is sort of this is one of the leading differentiators of the platform. This gives the home builder, this gives the manufacturer the absolute documentation they need to understand the issue, to then solve that problem or to protect themselves. And so one example of that is, again, leaning into doors for a minute, is if you go to Home Depot and buy a door, okay, you can go into the Home Depot, vendor list or trade list and schedule someone to come to your house and install it. So the installer comes to your house, rips out your old door, busts out all the molding around it, installs your new door crooked, and now it's leaking a month later.
Mm.
Okay, so it's not the manufacturer's problem. It's also not the homeowner's. I mean, the homeowner has a problem, but it's not the manufacturer's fault.
Right.
Guess who I reach out to? The door manufacturer. My door is leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So the manufacturer deploys a technician to go on the job site to go see what happens. In one world without documentation, the technician shows up, rips the door out, puts the new door in, and off they go. And the manufacturer eats the cost of that. In a world that's well documented, the technician shows up, photographs the condition of the door, that it wasn't true, it wasn't plumb, it was crooked when it was installed, and it gives the manufacturer the knowledge that our product does not have defects.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not an issue in our manufacturing process in this case. It's an issue in the original install. And so those like small, they seem like small nuances. That's millions of dollars hiding in plain sight. Is that kind of documentation that our app, has the technicians do, and it's structured. It's easy to use. You can have big giant thumbs and quickly make it through through the form on the mobile app, but it's that data collection process that's rigid and structured that is a real differentiator in the product.
And this,
It's a secret. Let me be clear. Of all these owners we talk to, it's one of these kind of underlying secrets of the game, which is these projects are litigious. Anywhere from 9 to 11% of all warranty projects become litigious. And to Beth's point, in the previous world, you're trying to track down a text to a third party. You're trying to track down a service order that was initiated through a third party group that you don't have digital tracking on any of. And so, needless to say, if you're the manufacturer that are providing the services, this paper trail, it's kind of like a secret big brother. Because at the end of the day, it is more functional in the field. The techs appreciate route optimization and logging all this data because, by the way, the tech ends up in court too.
mm-hmm.
And nobody wants to end up in court over any of it. So the fact that it's photographed, it's paper trailed, it's time stamped, it's linked to the very direct service order that started it. Everybody that's communicated in the supply chain is connected to that case. Their ability to wipe those liabilities clean with this system might be the biggest reason they'll write a check for it. They won't say that, but we know that that's what they're trying to prevent.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, the folks that are in my builder audience, developers, I mean, your ears are probably popping up like a German Shepherd. And click on the link. I'd love to introduce you to both Matt and Beth if possible. But let's go ahead and jump into some of those things of what we're going to be doing with the capital that you're raising. We're not going to go into the granular details of everything, the type of instrument or the amounts. We'll get that information to you as appropriate. But let's just talk about how you guys have progressed internally. You've invested your own monies and you've got this amazing platform to where it is today, and you're about to launch. So we're not rubbing two sticks together here when investing monies. Of course, we're not making any guarantees or anything like that. But what I will say is the investor looking at this from the outside in, they have an opportunity to really throw gas on the fire. And why don't you guys explain? I'll pass it over to you, Matt, what your plans are on utilizing the capital that you're raising.
And so I'm going to take that and I'm going to start that with the first place that we think about the importance is our team. And so needless to say, building the resources around the team that brings us to market. But I want Beth to speak to the progress that we've made in terms of building the tool, deploying the tool, testing the tool, and the tool being ready to go to market. And many startups right now are asking for money to build something that they thought of.
Yes.
Needless to say, we have a customer, we've built something, it works, and now we have a second customer. Both of those will be launched in the next couple of months, and that's instant revenue coming through the door. That's important to us, but it also validates what we've built. So needless to say, those are references. We have advisors, and I think this is an important piece to talk about. Our advisor team comes from this space. So needless to say, the warranty repair teams, the home building teams, people in the pool industry, people in services industry. We've built a team of advisors, senior advisors
Solar.
that are very tenured, very tenured. And solar also, which has really just appeared on the scene recently, but is picking up a lot of speed in terms of opportunities in the lead funnel. So we're using dollars to turn this into sales. We
Yeah,
aren't using dollars to build something that people aren't going to use yet.
love it.
People
Love
are
it.
using the
That
tool.
said, we have earmarked a good portion of the raise to continue on some of these features that I've already discussed, which is there's sort of four key pieces on the roadmap still that we have plans to build out. One is that the really powerful interface for the customer or homeowner.
Mhm.
They can see when their warranty ticket is scheduled. They can see when they will arrive. They can document things themselves. That's another thing that homeowners want. They want to be able to send a picture, send a link, send a video to show what the issue is up front versus waiting for a technician. So building out that consumer interface is a super important part of our roadmap.
Mhm.
Um, another of the four, the second piece is today we have all of our billing, at least for our customer number one, all via automated invoices. But ideally, where we are going is to truly build out the SaaS environment so that every client that signs up, they have an self-serve onboarding experience, and they can also enter a credit card and off they go using the system. So that's the second piece. The third piece is we need to build some additional automation around these mobile forms, these customized mobile forms, because again, such an important part of this platform is to make sure that the home builder or the manufacturer is capturing the data that they want and capturing the data that they need to properly understand the issue. So that's the third piece. And then the last piece is we want to deeply integrate automation around all the communication between these parties. And know we can do that with AI and know we can do that with automation so that again, the messages that occur between the homeowner and the manufacturer and the manufacturer and the technician, that there's some powerful automation there when it comes to the communication side. And again, all that's documented as part of the case, right? We call it the job, but it's really the case that's documenting from the time it was reported to the time it was closed, what happened to get through this issue. And so those are the four key areas of our roadmap that would really round out that sort of complete ecosystem for all three parties.
And
Love it.
Beth, I think that the AI job concierge is super important. And needless to say, we're building an AI agent behind all of this internal data that can be logged to each job. And so, needless to say, if you have to pull up a job, it needs more detail. You can ask the agent. The agent can go source the detail, pull in the details, distribute reports, and other things. And so, we're leveraging AI agents and other AI tools across the platform. And again, to Beth's point, we have some technical work to do. We have some team formatting to do, but bringing the tool to market, marketing the tool, and getting it launched within use cases, verticals, and other industries is the primary goal of the end of the funding.
That is so awesome. And as we sunset this conversation here, and you guys have done a remarkable job. I know that investors typically look for five things. I've been doing this for quite some time, and the first thing is there a big problem with a big audience? And clearly, I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar challenge that everyone is faced with. And all the verticals, when you add that in there, I'm probably, estimating conservative numbers in my brains. It probably goes that rabbit hole a lot further than someone even would imagine when you start adding on other verticals. The other thing is there defensible IP here, patents or anything like that? And clearly, what you guys have built, there's tremendous value with defensible IP. And again, as we sunset this conversation, I'll just ask you guys for your final thoughts on these five things and whatever you want to latch onto there. And in closing, of what you want to articulate even stronger than I am. But the third thing that investors think about is what you're doing disruptive. This is like an earthquake to the industry. I mean, it's like, guys, come on, it's so antiquated what you're doing now with, oh, let me remember, oh gosh, what that guy say, where's my legal pad in the van, and what did we do over there? I mean, Beth, that was tremendous how you exposed that, because it's so true. They're trying to commit to memory all these things, and if
Right.
this guy, if John isn't on the job site, oh shoot, John is out sick today. John, do you remember what we did? Oh, guys, come on, you're bothering me. It's just crazy, right? I mean, but that's what the industry is.
Yeah.
Multi-trillion-dollar construction industry, and this is how they handle things with pen and paper, and on the back of legal pads. So it is hugely disruptive. The other thing is scalability. I mean, what you guys doing is tremendous. I love how you're articulating the SaaS aspect of that, Matt, and all the verticals that can tie into this, and utilizing your API and everything else. And finally, the fifth thing is a strong team, right? So you guys have got it going on in all of those 5 areas. I give you an A+ in everything, but of course I'll give you an opportunity to really what you want to underscore on these 5 things as you close up your final thoughts on this. But I'll tell you the sixth thing that investors look for is an unfair advantage that is totally legal, and you have one now. You're getting firsthand information on TechTech, this amazing group that has put this together. It is remarkable what I believe this thing can turn into and what you guys have been able to do on your side of the desk. I am so impressed. So you guys have got it going on. So ladies first, Beth, just give us your final thoughts on any of those areas. Anything that you want to say that you think it's important for an investor to hear, so that they can click on that link, get on my schedule, get their questions answered, and go from there. So Beth, I'll pass it over to you, and then please pass it over to Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Izzy. I think you've made a lot of really great points right there. I think one thing that comes to mind that I like to close with, and it's something that you and I touched on in a previous conversation, is that this particular problem, this warranty issue resolution, is in a lot of ways not necessarily impacted by the fluctuations that take place in the home building industry. And I'll tell you why. Whether the home building industry is on the rise or on the decline, one thing is always 100% true, is they are supporting the homes that they've built in the past for some time. Whatever they're doing today in terms of their velocity in building new homes is sort of irrelevant when it comes to this problem. This is rear view mirror kind of stuff, and these problems are long lasting. And so in up times and in downtimes, especially in downtimes, what's important for a home builder or manufacturer is that they keep costs in check. Mm-hmm. And what this platform allows them to do is to, again, really get their hands around what is that issue that took place at the job site or the job location, and how can I get that resolved as quickly as possible. And with a tool like this, that they not only can accomplish that, but they can also get it well documented and just close that case for good with a dossier, a legal dossier that says exactly what happened when they're on the job site. Customer experiences and customer expectations are changing. I mean, this is something that has been largely techless, meaning like, again, managed in an Excel spreadsheet or in sticky notes. That's unacceptable for today's modern consumer. I mean, they want the ability to have a quick way to resolve problems. And if you can do that as a manufacturer or a home builder, then you are going to, get absolute boosts in loyalty and ratings, which is, again, part of our roadmap is to build out that ratings program. But why now is the right time for this. I mean, technology is advancing so quickly. This problem can be solved with technology very clearly, and we believe we've done that.
Awesome. Over to you, Matt.
Beth said a lot there, and it's all true. And so, needless to say, regardless of economic situation or wherever it is, you're servicing customers that have already spent money on you, not new ones. But with that being said, I actually kind of want to lean into probably a little more personal side of closing this up. Not only do I get to work with somebody I've known my whole life, and we've done a lot of projects together, it's those projects that lead to this outcome. And so when I say this is our first time raising something for one of our own companies, it's because we have a lot of experience bringing startups to life, all sorts of products in all sorts of industries. It is what we do. And in doing that, we have a thesis. And that thesis is, A, the product has to be disruptive. It has to be disruptive. There's too many marketplaces that are highly saturated with solutions that it becomes a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
In this particular case, our eyes were wide open when we saw how many sticky notes, text messages, and spreadsheets alone were running the biggest companies in the industry. Wow. So needless to say, we believe that the marketplace is incredibly disruptive. Yeah. But more importantly, is projects for good. And the unique thing Beth and I have is we get to look at projects and decide which ones we want to work on. And if they don't meet this thesis of being disruptive and being a project for good, well, the project for good here is not only is it great for manufacturers maintaining their warranty work, got it. It's good for the customer. The customer deserves better communication. They're getting better communication from their Uber driver than they're getting from their warranty repair service.
Yeah.
And so, needless to say, to Beth's point, bringing the industry up to the modern age of communication, of access, and efficiency, that's a project for good. It's good for the technicians, it's good for the customers, and it's very good for the manufacturers. Not to mention the little Easter egg of the liability protection. But with that being said, we're very passionate about this. This is the one that we want to take to the top, to the finish line, and we want great partners. And it's important that if we're going to talk to anybody about taking money and taking an investment in this, that they tell us what this means to them, that
Yeah.
they are willing to get shoulder to shoulder with us and bring this to the market, that they see where there's places where they could benefit in their own business or businesses that they're aware of. This is a job of us finding the right people to run to the finish line with us. And so we appreciate you hosting us and working with us, Izzy. It's really exciting. But Beth and I know that this thing's going to go to the moon, regardless of what our next steps are. So with that being said, thank you for your time today, Izzy. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, thank you for yours. And thank you, Beth, as well. You guys really articulated this so well. Folks, again, you've been seeing that link up. Go ahead and click on that to get on my schedule. I can potentially make the introduction if it's merited to Matt Murphy, Beth Wilson, the founders of TechTech, in a remarkable industry that is growing, needs technology for sure. These guys are on the front side of that. And I would say there are so many companies that get involved with bleeding edge of technology. You guys are on cutting edge for sure. I am just so blown away with what you're able to do. And again, it even steeped into me more other verticals that you can plug and play with this. So congratulations on everything that you guys are doing. Okay, everybody, we're looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Again, go ahead and click on that link and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now. Thanks again, Matt and Beth. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.